I've put a few screens together here. It's just these are not in the not-for-profit sector, but they're interesting. I'm going to pause. While you just have a read. These are what things actually companies have done. The blue notes are just my prompts. They're made aid memoir. It's much easier in the private sector because profit determines behaviour. So once a company's seen that there's more money to be made by operating online, then they very quickly switch their spend. So the marketing dollar is very much online in America. America about 3, 4, 5 years ahead of us. There used to be 2, which is a bit worrying. But I heard someone say in the program that knew what they were talking about was 3 or 4. So if it's happening over there, you can online. We're going to get it in due course. Dell, which again was the original IT on PC seller online. The point about Dell, for those of you who don't know, is they don't. The big word, it's called disintermediation. So the concept of the internet would disintermediate. It takes out the middle person. So we don't need people to sell computers via shops. They'll sell all theirs online. They don't keep any stock, so you place your order and they make it to order, believe it or not, with the amount of RAM or whatever. And they've made a fortune by doing that, being the main online computers, and now they're into Twitter, and they realise that it's about referrals, isn't it? If you've got people, unpaid salesmen, it's your customers. A good company has less customers, takes more off them, and gets them to act as unpaid salespeople. That's the modern business thinking. But they're very, very customer focused. Hence, people talking about your company in a positive way and your products. It means you've got to be good, and you've got to keep on the ball, because bad reputations spread quickly as well. 28% of shoppers said that social media, well, they would do, wouldn't it? If someone you speak to next door or wherever says, oh, we went to wherever, Lanzarote, and it was bog awful and it was full of people vomiting, we're not going there again, then you'll be influenced by that if you're a similar sort of person to the person that's giving you the information. Well, you just get a broader sense of information from viral marketing. And I'm saying, look, it happens anyway, via email, distribution, social media, a whole range of things. So why not at least switch onto it and think about, well, what messages do we want to be virally spread about us and our services? Next one, JetBlue. Completions. Very important in terms of learning, isn't it? When you're working with disadvantaged groups, our completion rates are lower than, shall we say, people that have less problems. So we know there's a real problem with completion rates in LSC funding. Let's read that. JetBlue website visitors also visited Twitter, with 35% more likely to complete their booking. So they were influenced more by people on Twitter who they have already signed up to, people that they're interested in, people that they think have got good values, people they think that they know what they're talking about. So you've got people that have adopted technology earlier are called influencers, but also they become influencers within a group, other people become influencers. So what you've got is a higher rating on that influencer because you've judged them to be knowledgeable. The same with blogs. The reason that anybody can do a blog, but it's not anybody can have a free blog, but it's the quality of the blog, of what you're writing, and that reflects whether you become a leading blogger or a competent blogger or just someone that's ranting their opinions. And that's what we need to know about human beings, is put a value on that. So this person, that comes through referrals. So if 10 or 12 people say blogger B is really good on the Iraq war, then the traffic flows to that blog. And there are other tools, Deciduous and Digit and a whole range of other things we're not going in today, that help you be more effective at finding the best bloggers. And lastly, 40% say they'd talk about a recommended product. And people are very happy to talk about their favourite charities or charities and causes that they're volunteering to work with. So again, doesn't cost you much. You just feed stuff to your volunteers who are part of a Facebook group of supporters of X, Y, or Z. I'm just conscious of the time. I've nearly finished my bit, and then I'm going to pass over to Charlotte to show you some tools. 58%. This is an interesting part of the future. The successful companies of the future that really understand online won't let bad comments go. They will respond to them. They'll bring people into their organisation by wrapping around them the communication. But they've got to mean it. You know, if you don't get, and I've done this a lot myself, if I send an email request to a website and I don't get a request the next day, and not only do I not use that, I don't buy from them, or they don't solve my problem, or if they don't answer my question, I make damn sure everybody else knows that they didn't. I don't want anyone else to use them either. They're a bad company, and I don't care about that. That's their problem. They didn't respond. So you've got the higher level of you're going to get better service level agreements through good online companies than you will do face to face. And I have evidence of that on a personal level. Amazon's pretty good, for example. Volunteer blogs, we've talked about that. Real volunteers talking about their experiences, others doing it. And you can go into volunteer websites where you can link up with other people of a similar age, disposition, interest. I found this one interesting. Wiki is Wikipedia, and it's basically it's a tool that allows you to collect information and organise it. So I don't know exactly what they meant, but I thought that was an interesting comment, and I'd like to know more how you project manage something using a wiki, or how you help. That might fit with the Ning, and making a Ning more structured. That's more of a comment for Charlotte. I don't want to digress onto that today. And so just going to pause while you read that, and then we'll move on. One of the areas of success of blogging and Web2 is in the political field, the global political field. There are, for those of you that don't follow these things, in places like Iraq, Iran, where there's suppression, China, quite often ordinary paper-based newspapers don't function very well because of the suppression. People communicate via the internet, and you will find certain bloggers launch certain stories before the national press or the international press get hold of it. So quite often these days, the actual journalist, the paper journalist, will have the bloggers as their primary source of information because they're breaking the news earlier. That's only happened in the last 3 or 4 years, but what you're seeing there is an enthusiast, someone that doesn't necessarily live in that country, is really passionate about a particular issue. They gather the information, they do take checks on it, they don't just publish anything, good ones that is, and they break the news and they follow the news, and they quite often even end up on CNN and so on as commenting on it. Obviously photos, YouTube has changed everything when it comes to video. It's just so easy, and everybody can take videos on their camera now. You've seen that when there's an international disaster. It's not the cameras from the TV companies, it's photo phones, it's small video cameras that are recording the real live stuff when the earthquake broke. By the time the camera crews get there, the earthquake or the typhoon's moved on to another area. And the last one on there, just some examples of some pretty serious organisations that have done well out of using Web2. There's a few using Twitter. This is the interesting thing. This fits with the replace, reinforce, extend or enhance bit. So there's the sort of things that you can do. Just pausing while you read that, but it's quite broad. Without getting messages out, interconnecting groups, keeping inertia, impetus going.